So I'll introduce Jessica. So you guys get to meet somebody else that works, one of our sales managers. Again, she helps train our agents. We call her the script master because she's just naturally good at BSing. And her mom even said when she was younger, she's a good BSer. In a good way. I'm a good BSer too. What did your mom say when you were younger, Jessica?
So my mom used to always say, it's not what you said, it's how you said it, Jessica. It used to be in a really negative way.
Yeah.
It still comes out like that, but
a little sarcastic. She's a little sarcastic.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she helps train our agents. We role play in the morning. They role play with Jessica. They try to stump her. She tries to stump them. Again, so we put all those note cards on your desk. If anybody else has a straggler, I'll pick it up. But we're gonna do that. So are you just gonna? You want me to read them to you?
Well, so here's what I was thinking. If you guys are okay, I'm gonna stand because I have to be like.
I'm stand here because then people, people in the interweb need to
So I want this to be really fruitful for you guys. So I did go through, and there was a lot of duplicates. So I know some that are a lot of you asked the same thing in different ways. But yeah, if you want to give it to me, I'm looking at some of them. There might have to be a little bit of a scenario piece, but yeah. I'm open to this. And here's the thing, not everything is perfect. Not everything, there's not a script for every single one of these, but I'm gonna do my best so y'all roll with it. I will tell you the first time it comes out is going to be the time that is good. If you ask me to repeat it, it will not be good. So I'm just telling you that now.
She does that all the time.
I do it all the time. Can you repeat that? Nope, should have been recorded.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
So her first one. Seller wants to sell for 1.6 million minimum, but market may show its value for 1.4 max. Won't sell if we don't list for that number.
Perfect. So, Mrs. Seller, let me ask you, where is it that you see the additional $200,000 value based on the comps that we're looking at? I want to make sure you and I are on the same page with this.
Well, I mean, I've got new paint and I put new granite in.
Absolutely. So here's what my job is for you. My job is to not list your home, but get it sold and help negotiate. My fear is if we list it too high, we're going to give up that entire first weekend and possibly the first 2 weeks, and we're not going to have the right buyer in. And then we're selling it for, in this market, 98% of whatever we drop it to. So we can start at 1.6, but if we go to 1.4, we might only get 98% of that. So then you're looking at 1.3, and I feel like we're going to lose 100,000 versus let's price it to be the clear choice and let the market drive it up to that 1.6 if the buyer sees the value in it. Does that sound fair?
Okay. I know. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, sorry, we want a little bit more context. Okay.
It's so hard to write it all down.
Okay, write it. Tell us.
Yeah, sorry.
My sellers, they own 2 Airbnbs
Okay.
side by side.
Yep.
It's in Nashville, Tennessee. She wants that price. She only bought them 2 years ago. She's like, I'm not going to sell if I don't get this price. And I said, I'm sorry, there's just no way you're going to get that price. And she was like, well, I'm sick and tired of it. I don't want to sell it. But yet she won't. So we keep going, we do this dance.
And what'd she pay?
1.3.
1.3.
So she's making
She's making money.
Yeah.
And so I guess the question would be, I might ask a question.
But I guess she paid to fully furnish it, so she's gonna, I don't know actually how that would come out because she did a lot of high-end designing finishes.
Well, so here's the thing with that.
Sell them fully furnished.
Right, the Airbnbs.
She's trying to sell it, but kind of like the conversation we just had, it hasn't been long enough.
Correct.
You want 1.6, but you're not at 1.6 right now. This is not my opinion, this is the market.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be, I know this is so hard because I would have said about your former realtor, well, if I didn't sell it to them, I would have said, was your expectation to sell this home sell these homes in 24 months when you bought these assets?
Yeah.
Because the average homeowner that makes money on their home is holding on to it for a decade. So here's what we can do. Let's just hold on to it for 8 more years and we might be able to get 1.6. How would that work for you? That's the reality though. Sometimes people just want what they want, but that's not reality. So, and then you have to decide, are you gonna be the agent that just lists it or the agent that sells it? So you might have to say, I'm not gonna do that to you, Sally. You probably have to go somewhere else because I don't wanna just list the property and then give this property a reputation where it's on and off the market for the next year. So it sounds like you're not that motivated to truly sell it. So why don't we just hang on to it and see if we can get the market to come back up to it? Or have her show you what comp she has. Does she have any?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, because here's the thing. I tell the other thing when we're pricing, Mr. Seller, here are the comps. and I'm gonna have you determine the price. Why? Because when Melissa brings her buyer, they're gonna be looking at the same comps. The buyer is going to decide whether we price the house well or not. The buyer really has to agree with these comps. What do you see in the tea leaves? And then I'll tell you what I see in the tea leaves. But it's really what the buyer sees. Like, we have to come up with that determination. So if we don't have comps for 1.6, what am I gonna show them when they bring me the offer for 1.4? How do I negotiate for you at 1.6? What do we tell them? It's really nice?
Yeah.
But my seller furnished it? I don't know, she's a really nice lady, she just wants 1.6. I mean, what is the argument? I guess that could be, show me the argument. Because I will fight for you, but I need the argument, and I don't have anything right now. So that could be the other point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes I recommend getting an appraisal before.
That's a great,
Yep.
yes.
Mhm.
Get an appraisal, you did, okay.
Let's have a third party take a look at this value.
Yeah, appraisal would be great.
Do you ever ask them what they would pay for their house? I've done that, not had success.
It's part of the script. Yeah,
Yep.
at the end.
Right.
What would make you want to buy your house versus the competition at $100,000 more? Why would you buy it? It's the car analogy too, right,
Yeah.
that we do in the script. So it gets them to logic, because what do people buy on? Emotion. Logic's out the door. Sellers are emotional when you're there. They want all this money for the house. They're just so excited.
It's made of gold nails,
It's made of
though.
gold nails. Yeah, all right, next one.
Okay.
I want to wait for a higher offer.
Okay, great. So I need to know the situation for the person
who-
who has it. I want to wait for a higher offer. Great.
Yeah.
Situation. Do we have multiple? Do we just have one? Are we at list price? Where are we at with this offer compared to list price?
Multiple offers.
Great.
One got list, one is 5 or 10,000 above this.
Great. So we have 5 or 10 and they still want higher.
They still want.
Wow.
Like, greedy.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mrs. Seller, let me ask you, we have multiple offers, which means we have been able to not only market to the buyers, get them in the door, they've toured the property, and they've also decided to go ahead and offer on your house. We have had a fantastic win. Right now, even with all the buyers that are coming through, we're seeing our top offer being 10,000 above our list price. So that buyer loved it so much, they even went above what we marketed it at. Now, I hear that you're wanting a little bit more than that. Can you tell me how much more you're wanting above that? Because usually these are our best offers. So if we say no to this, my concern is that we're going to get lesser offers the longer we wait. Now, we can certainly counter this and see if we can get it up higher, but I also want to make sure you fully understand what it looks like whenever we do go to make a counter offer, and make sure you're really comfortable with that.
And the risk.
The risk, yep.
Because if these 3 buyers, right now, you have the perfect storm. We have excitement, we have fear of missing out, we have social proof that it's worth more because we have multiple offers. When we get rid of all these offers and wait, we basically shun the most seasoned, ready, willing, and motivated buyers. Our hottest buyers are the first. So when you set that up and you put these buyers on a pedestal that are worth more money because they're seasoned, the next buyer coming in a week or 2 later, there's gonna be no fight, there's gonna be no drama over it, there's gonna be no emotion. Are you okay with possibly taking the risk to make less than our lowest price, which is full price? Are you possibly okay with it? I'm okay with it, but the risk is that we don't get even this. Are you okay with that? Let them make the decision. 'Cause it's a big risk and they'll probably end up with less, I think.
You can go back and ask if it's their highest and best, and that's another conversation.
The highest and best for the
But
offers.
there's also a risk with that though too, and the seller has to be
Yep.
fully aware of that. And I will say, because I've seen our agents do it, hey, I want you to come back with your highest and best. Well, you just offended me, that top highest and best you just had just pulled out. So the seller
Right.
also really has to understand, we can go back and do this, and here is the risk with it. Because there is nothing worse than being like, yeah, absolutely, we'll do that. And then you have to tell your seller that their best offer that they were trying to get everybody else up to just walked.
Well, I mean, I would make those phone calls.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've got other offers, and this is
Mhm.
Is this your best? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you start playing all those games, you guys gotta remember, buyers have their ascension phase, right? I'm all excited, I write the offer, and then what happens the next step? regret and doubt and, oh my God, am I making the right decision? I don't really want to fight for this home. Oh, and then they're looking on the internet and then they want to back out. So time is the killer of all deals. My sellers hear me say that a million times. Time is the killer of all deals. Time is the killer of all deals. Don't think about it overnight because you might wake up to no offers, which happens a lot, right? So that's a great one. Hopefully that helps. Did they end up, where are they at? Are you doing this right now with them?
No, actually, this is hypothetical.
Oh, hypothetical. Okay, good. I like it. Okay, she's future pacing for her job. All right. I need to sell before I buy.
Okay, great. When can I come over?
I mean, that's your home. Yeah. Is it that I need to sell before I buy? You're wondering how the logistics of that go? Who wrote that one? I need to sell before I buy. No one's going to take ownership of this? Okay. Fine. Yeah. So I need to sell before I buy.
So there's logistics and there's also like objections are, here's this, okay, I need to get past it. This is a situation.
Yeah.
Like there's more to it than just, but I have to sell before I buy. I don't think that right now is the time to meet for us to go look at homes. Well, great, let me come over and let me go ahead and take a look to see what we need to do to your house to make sure everything lines up, to make sure that we can buy and figure out the right process and plan for you.
Get the house prepped, get it ready, get it ready to launch.
I need to sell before I buy, but my house is listed with another agent in another state.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Wait, no, that's a buyer objection, but
It's fine. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
buy here. Your house is listed in New Jersey with somebody else. Great. Who is your person in New Jersey? Let me go ahead and contact them, see how the market is there so that we can put a plan in place to make sure that everything lines up so it's nice and smooth and stress-free for you. Let me take that stress off of you and let's let the agents talk agent to agent to figure out what's best for you. And then you better come alongside that New Jersey agent and just be like, hey, what is it like? And leave your ego at the door because it's a different market. If you want to come into somebody else's market and tell them this is what needs to be done, nope, you're not making a friend.
And are you asking, like, should I be showing them all these houses? Because I wouldn't. I would show them, I would send them on neighborhood searches.
Yes.
A house is easy to find. The neighborhood, Mr. Buyer, that's gonna be harder. So why don't you drive by Lake Forest and Fuquay and all the other places they wanna see, you know, in the triangle. So we send them on a neighborhood hunt to get the feel of the area. So you're picking the area, then we can find the house within the area.
And you can also see from that agent how realistic it is on the seller side, because you've probably taken properties as well that it's gonna sit there for 2 or 3 weeks. So you say, hey, how realistic, what is the market doing? Like, what is your game plan? Where are we at with this? You can also kind of size up, that person's a partner to your deal. How good are they at their job? Is this getting ready to sell in 2 days or is this gonna sit there for 2 months? Too.
This is my favorite one.
Oh, good.
Can you lower your commission?
No.
Wait, you didn't do our line. No?
Nope.
Any other questions? And with a smile.
No. Any other questions?
There you go, that's it. That's the answer. Okay, you got any others?
Can you lower?
But the agent said they would do it for 5%.
So great, that's in there. So I understand that somebody else would do it for 5%. Let me ask you, I help over 1,000 families a year on my team, and they see the
So
value.
pretend you
in-
don't.
Okay, great. So I'm an
You're
independent
solo agent.
agent. So I've been doing this for a while, and other clients of mine have seen the value in my fee at blank %. Can I ask you, what do you think it is that they saw?
Saw? What do you mean?
Like, what value do you think that they saw? What value do you think that I bring? Or what questions would you have?
Yeah, I don't know.
And I might just going into what questions do you have? Like, because you.
What questions do you have about what I did? Is that what you're saying?
No,
What
I
was
just
your
want to know what
context?
questions you have, because it really doesn't, you don't care about my commission, you care about how much money you're gonna make. So what did I miss? What's the question that we have here that we didn't
Oh,
go
what
over?
objection? Yeah, what
Like,
objection?
what's
did I-
really
okay,
the
now-
objection underneath? Like,
Got it.
okay, you're concerned with the 5%, so let me ask you, is it more so about what I'm making or what you're walking away with that you're most concerned with? Because honestly, it doesn't matter if I charge 10%, if I can make you $50,000 more, wouldn't you rather have $50,000 more than worried about what I get paid and I share to Uncle Sam? Because I'm assuming you care about your bottom line, not mine.
Yeah, that's a good one. I might say too,
That's not a script, that'll never happen again.
but like, so 5%, so I might go, only 5% they're charging you? Well, is commission the biggest issue that we're talking about today? Say yes, because they go,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I have agents that'll do it for 3. I mean, actually, I have a couple agents that'll list you right in the MLS. I mean, really for nothing. So
Okay.
are you just looking for the cheapest discount broker?
Well, I just want to make the most amount of money.
Well, absolutely. But I mean, if you're looking to make the cheapest If you're looking for the discount broker, that won't be us, but if you're looking to net the most amount of money, then obviously, yep, you're hiring me.
Yep.
I love it.
That's
I
one of my
love it.
favorites too.
Okay, good. Okay, salary
These are
question.
in no order. These are just
Yeah,
shuffled, so.
We're just having fun.
Yep.
I don't want to provide buyer agent commission until we have an offer. I don't want to provide buyer agent commission until we have an offer? Does that say an
Yeah,
offer or
that-
do offer?
So question with this one, is this that the person does not want to provide Form 220 upfront and they want to review it at the time of offer?
An offer, yeah.
I'm asking.
That's what it sounds.
That's what it sounds.
Okay, I'm gonna go with that assumption then.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is absolutely a strategy. We can certainly not provide buyer agent compensation and not put that out ahead of time. But let me explain something to you. Nothing has really changed with the settlement. So I'm curious to know where it is that you have heard or that you think that strategy would be best for you to not offer that until we look at offers. So I'm just curious.
Well, I mean, I just read a lot of things and, it says that we just don't need to pay commission, so I'd love to save it.
Okay, perfect. So here's what we could do is we could absolutely save money on the buyer's agent compensation, but you're also purchasing a house. So I'm curious, are you expecting to pay me whenever we go to purchase a house, or are you expecting the seller to pay that?
Oh, well, I mean, I haven't thought about it that way. I mean, I really wouldn't want to pay.
Yeah. It would be something, we walk into an $800,000 house and you're worried about what you're paying me, right? You're not worried about if the house is right. You're adding up numbers in your head, right? If you have to pay
See
me.
your point?
Yeah. Here's what I would love to do. Let's employ the 10,000 agents that are in the triangle. Let's not give the buyer another objection. Let's let them walk into the house, feel the house, picture themselves in it, and worry about how much money they can spend on your house, not how much are they going to pay an agent. Because then they're looking at, okay, here's my pot of money. This much has to go to my agent, so I only have this much left to go towards your house. I would much rather drive your bottom line and remove that buyer objection than give somebody an objection before they even walk in the door.
Okay, fine, I'll offer commission. How much should I offer? Just kidding, we can't talk about it. Just kidding.
Using the quick count, well, another one, well, I'm not gonna use an agent to buy because I'm buying new construction.
Great, so perfect. So let me ask you, who is it that you're planning on using to negotiate on your behalf when you're buying new construction without an agent?
Whoever their on-site agent is.
Can I tell you what concerns me about that? So an on-site agent works for the builder, correct? They're paid for by the builder. Their allegiance is probably to who? The builder, right? So it actually wouldn't save you any money to use them because we're looking at Mattamy. Mattamy's actually going to pay X percentage of my compensation. So it's actually nothing out of your pocket, but you're hiring someone to double check the paperwork, who's solely focused on you, who's gonna negotiate because guess what? You're probably gonna want blinds and appliances in your new home and they're not gonna just give it to you right off the bat, and also get the best price. So wouldn't it make sense to have me as your agent if I can get the builder to pay for my compensation so that you have somebody in your corner? I just don't want you to do this alone. I mean, I do this for a profession.
I have one more counter.
Yeah, great.
My mom just bought there without an agent and everything.
Oh, perfect. So did your mom pay full price or did she pay under?
I'm not sure she paid whatever they were selling.
Gotcha. Do you mind if I do a little bit of research? Because I'd be curious to know what they're selling for in the neighborhood when somebody's going automatically, and whether it be price or the different things that she gets. I would just hate for you to not have that information, to have the best information to move forward with. Something like
And
that.
not every real estate transaction is perfect, like you might bring up a story
Yeah.
at that time. Well, like, I mean, 1 out of 5 new construction homes that we close, we're going to bat at the end during inspections when we're battling the builder because they put something in wrong. Your mom got lucky, but I mean, there is a chance that that could not happen. So if you're not saving any money, which you're not, are they giving you a discount on my commission?
For not bringing an agent in?
Yeah,
Uh,
they're not. Why wouldn't you want that extra layer of protection?
Yeah. And the other thing is,
Unless you're getting the money back, which you're not, so
Yeah.
that's the thing, they think they're saving. It's like saying you're gonna go into a court case and represent yourself. I mean, yeah, it might end up okay, but why would I not want that free counsel
Right,
that's being
but
offered
I'm
to me?
using that as an excuse to not pay buyer compensation. on my-
Oh, right, yeah, totally. But I'm saying if they,
Just one.
yeah.
yeah, you
If they weren't
absolutely,
offering it,
you
that's right.
absolutely could. It's just a matter of, we want them to see the value in the buyer. The other extension piece to that is, So Tina, can I share with you what's actually changed? Because I know that you're very smart, you've done a lot of research, and I want to share with you what's realistically changed versus maybe what the news is telling you.
Yes.
So what realistically changed is where the agents automatically advertise a pre-negotiated commission. That changed. Sellers have always had the ability to offer whatever they choose to. They've always been able to have it negotiated on the front end, on the back end. But what we're doing now is saying, you're gonna pay me to list, negotiate, and sell your home X%. And then we're gonna incentivize the buyer's side X% for them to bring a ready, willing, able buyer. I personally wanna work in a transaction where there's another professional, because I don't wanna deal with for sale by owners. I certainly don't wanna deal with for buyers by owners. They don't know what they're doing. That would be awful. That transaction will 100% fall apart. So it's not that you've never had the ability to change, but for decades, sellers have had this option and they've never done it. And the few that have, hasn't always gone well. I would rather employ everybody and for you to have the best agents representing them. Now, granted, we're gonna have some tough cookies. There might be some tough negotiators, but that's what you want as a professional agent who's advising them the way that I'm advising you.
Fair. Fair. I like it. I like it. All right, do we have time for, I mean, we're probably out of time. We'll have time for a couple more. 2 more?
Yeah.
All right.
Here's what we'll do.
Okay.
Outside of this, does anybody have one or two that
Yeah.
are like, this has to get answered right now? Like, I need this objection. If not, we'll randomly pull them. Nobody?
I think, like, we're interviewing listing agents, because I feel like that happens
Mhm.
a lot. Like,
Okay.
how do you, I guess the objection would be why they're choosing to not move forward with you at the appointment.
So
Because they say that they're
It comes up
interviewing.
at the
because
appointment?
because you as the seller have other interviews after me?
Mhm.
Okay, great. So Renee, can I ask you, what is it, for you outside of the fact that you have other appointments that you feel like we haven't gone over that is maybe causing you to not want to move forward?
Nothing really.
Okay, great. So if you didn't have those appointments, we would be ready to hire me. I can go ahead and start working on the prep of your house, get photos, cleaning, all of that, and get this up and running.
I'm a processor, I like to wait. I need
Absolutely.
to, think about it for the next day or so.
Perfect. So what questions do you think may come up that I can go ahead and answer for you in the next 24 hours that can help with you with the processing piece to it?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Okay. Do you have are your other appointments today, or are you gonna be processing? Do you have 24 hours to dedicate just to processing?
No, I have 2 more appointments in the next 48 hours and then plan to make a decision at the end of the week.
All right, you have to interview 2 other agents in 48 hours? Wow, that's a lot. So let me ask you, what are some things that you're hoping that they're gonna say? What are they gonna do differently that you're like, yep, this is it, I know this is my agent?
I think just I feel.
They feel? Anything feel off with us?
So direct.
Well, no, I don't think so.
So how about this, in order to save you some time, we don't have to start moving anything right away. But why don't I do this? Why don't I give you your 24 hours to process? I'm happy to call and push those other appointments. I want you to think about it for 24 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on things on my end, but no one's gonna be coming to your door. I want you to have 24 hours to process. Does that feel like something that would feel better for you to be able to fully think about it?
No, I'd still like to interview those other 2 agents.
Great, perfect. So by when will you be done with that second appointment?
On Saturday.
Saturday, what time?
I think we have them scheduled at 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock. So I'm assuming they'll probably be there for an hour. If they gab a long time, probably 2. So like 3:30 or so, you'll probably have them out.
Correct.
Perfect. Are you looking to make a decision at the end of that 3:30, or are you gonna want 24 hours to process from there?
No, I'm gonna need to process from
Process from there,
Yeah,
absolutely. I totally get it. And it's a big decision. I want you to have plenty of time to process it. So Sunday morning sound good for me to stop back by and we can figure it
No,
out?
because we're at church that morning.
You're at church. Perfect.
Yeah, probably Monday or Tuesday would be better.
Monday or Tuesday, perfect. So, does Monday at 8 a.m. work for you to come back by?
No,
No? You want me to call you Monday at 8?
I'll just reach back out to you.
Perfect. So here's what I do is, Renee, you're probably really busy like I am, and if I don't put something in my calendar, I'm probably not gonna remember to do it. Just in case you forget, Monday at 10 a.m., I'll have it penciled in to give you a call.
Okay, that sounds good.
Sounds good? All right, perfect.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, I mean,
Yeah.
I've ran into that person. There are just analytical people, no matter what you
Yeah.
say, they will just take their time.
Mhm.
That's why going out on appointments at high volume is helpful, because it's like, okay, well, you think about it, but I do like the follow-up piece, because, if you're pushing and she's like anti-pushy salesperson, that could come off really pushy to them, like, oh, I just want to
Yeah,
think
like
about it.
I would have been like, okay, now I did like you, but now I don't, so.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
depending on
Called me
the,
Monday, but now it's put me into like a defensive position, right?
Right.
Because I get into that, like where it, and I know it going into it, right?
So
that
that's the
I
other
have
thing
the other
is, you have the
interviews.
context throughout the whole thing
Yeah.
to know, in this moment, I don't know, am I closing
Yeah.
right now, or are we pushing it off, do you
Yeah.
have questions to answer? But that's the big thing, is these are all situational depending on everything else that happened
I mean, I've
beforehand.
at least found, I think the majority of our clients are, type A, high analytics, and there's a certain amount,
they're
right?
like
that
you.
Exactly, and maybe that's why, they come to me.
Like a translate.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't like being pushed.
No,
I know that, yeah.
I would just be like,
Leave me alone.
and
Yeah.
so, and I think, to your point, right, it's all situational, right? Because most of the people that are probably interviewing are that type A, dominant, like they want to be in control. So
Control.
if you keep needling,
Correct.
like I just find, at least for me, but I was curious what the, I kind of ask, hey, I know that you're interviewing, like I put it out there. If there is something else that, we only had an hour of time together, it's hard to discuss everything. If there's anything that comes up in your subsequent appointments that we need to circle back on, give me the opportunity to respond to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And by the way, when are you gonna be done with that? And then I'll plan on following up, X day.
And it might be good for you too, like a high analytical, which were the bane of my existence, because I'm like not that. I would slow down and just go right into, hey, we don't have to get into all the paperwork, but what I find is, a lot of times people will call me back and say, hey, we want to hire you, and then I'm not there, and to do the disclosures. So would you mind, like, can we just go through the disclosures right now and just like, I just want to like hear more about your house and kind of walk through that process? Because again, it's a process, and now you're building rapport with them, and you're kind of moving into talking about their home if they're comfortable with it. And I found that a lot of times they were like, sure, so that would be another way to just build rapport. And then as we're going through that, you're having more conversation, because that's the key.
Okay.
So they've done something with you. And then it's like, I know you're interviewing, there's gonna be agents, Renee, that say all these different things. You might forget that I probably do all the things that they're saying that they do. So could we do this? And I really wouldn't mind, even if you don't pick me, can we just kind of do a refresh after you're all done? Look at the questions that you still have, just affirm that, you're comparing apples to apples, because I find that I forget things sometimes, and we've gone over a lot today. Can we do that on Monday?
Okay.
So,
And the other thing is, if I know that they're gonna want time too, I'd probably spend a lot more on what's going on in the market, like, that's already been there, so then I know, I'm either going into the disclosures, soft close, or I'm just like, hey, we're not gonna go for it right now because it doesn't make sense, like, this is going to give me pushback immediately, versus saying like, hey, I'll come back tomorrow, I want you to kind of think about it a little bit, and then let's just review some questions, or I'm gonna give you a call tomorrow, let's go over any questions, because you're gonna have things that come up in the next 24 hours, but slowing down, because that listing appointment with an analytical is going to be 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I can flex into that, but I know that in my pre-qual. In my pre-qual, I've prepared everything for the analytical. I'm not.
yeah, I love it. Well, everyone's brain is probably dead, except you, because you used to have your hand up. Go ahead.
Well, so I actually had this happen with listing appointments where on the objection of, commissions and then costs and explaining to him how I would not hire even with commission. He basically said to me, he doesn't want me to make that decision. He said, I think you guys get paid too much money. And so I know what I said, and I also know that I didn't get a listing. But I had a lot of satisfaction in saying what he said.
What did you say?
Well, I would like to hear what he said.
No,
What you guys would say first.
that he said, I don't want to
Like,
listen.
you don't think I'm
Yeah,
worth
go
my
ahead.
commission?
Go ahead.
Yeah, he thinks, yeah, we get paid too much. He said it to me straight up.
Okay, so, Mr. Seller, can I ask you how much you think that I will make on this deal?
Yeah, too much money.
Too much money, excellent.
4%.
Okay, so one thing that I'd like to share with you is I don't actually pocket that and walk away with that. I know that's a big misconception, to be honest with you. I wish I was walking away with 2 to 4%. I mean, I'd be selling 10 houses a year if that was the case, right? But one thing that I want you to know is I'm the best of the best. There's a reason why I'm not charging you 1%. And honestly, if I were you, I'd run from somebody who's charging me 1% because I know my value. And if it's something that you and I feel like we're not a good connection and you want a discount agent, I'm happy to introduce you to them, but I don't work for 1%. My value is 2 to 4%. But again, I wish I could walk away with 2 to 4%, but trust me, Uncle Sam's taking a whole 1.5% of all of that. So I'm just curious, what other questions do you have for me?
It's not a question, it's just a statement, I think you make too much money.
Perfect. So it sounds like we're not a good fit. So, no, it sounds like we're not a good fit. And to be honest with you, I'm not in the business of fighting with sellers. I want to come alongside, like, we want to make this really happy. I don't think that I'm the right agent for you, but I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And I'm owning it and walking out. Like, if that's my value, I'm not waiting for you to be like, oh, no, you make too much money and you kick me out. No, because in that moment, I just lost all of my value.
Yeah.
And I'm letting you decide. And for me, I'm fine being like, nope, not for me, bye.
Yes.
Michael?
I don't know how many people have a checklist when they represent a buyer or seller. Mine, for both, is called 5 pages. And I always have that with me, because people will make comments like that about, I'm like, well, do you have any idea what goes into actually selling the property? And of course, they don't. They say they do, but they don't. But I take that, I don't show them what's on it, but I literally just take page by page by page, because it's completely filled out.
Yep.
I mean, completely, there's not an inch of room left on these. I go, this is my checklist, to make sure that this transaction gets done correctly. And I don't know how many other people you've hired, attorneys, doctors, that don't go, they don't follow the checklist, and you're paying them a lot more
Exactly.
for whatever their service is.
A lot more
Yeah.
more for their knowledge. Really, you're just buying knowledge. So yes, I would hire a newer agent. I mean, they'll probably charge you a lot less. They should charge you less. They're new.
Except I added to it, I said, what do you do for a living, sir? And I asked them, have you ever broken down hourly, like what you do for a living? And like break out the cost. And then I added the items you said, and I walked away.
Yeah. I mean, and you're always gonna get people like that, like, exactly.
Sometimes baristas make fun of me.
I have a listing appointment. Please talk louder.
Talk louder, Teresa.
At the listing appointment I was on last week, I mean, sometimes, I've had to negotiate my commission many times and it's worked out, but this one time it wasn't working out. So after I talked about my commission, of course, I touched on NAR a little bit, and he looked at me and he said, oh, I have no problem paying the buyer's agent 2.4%. It's you I have a problem with paying. And of course, we went into why and all that, and I came highly recommended to him. So he said, I know your value, but I don't want to pay any more than 1.5%, and I wouldn't budge.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Those of you on Zoom that couldn't hear, she had somebody that said that the seller had no problem paying the buyer side, but didn't want to pay her more than 1.5%, and she had no problem walking away.
Good for you. I mean, a great question is also, I totally get it. You can pay what you want to pay. Do you understand how commissions are paid and how the breakdown is after closing? And so make them see like the breakdown. Let's look at this, 2% of 500, this 10 grand or whatever, $10,000. The broker keeps 20%. 20% goes into marketing, then I have to pay Uncle Sam. So by the end of it, I am making whatever it is, $3,500, $4,000, $5,000, whatever it is, $5,000. That is what I retain. And so if you're looking at an agent at 1.5%, here's the number they have, 20% goes into marketing, this goes, so you're gonna hire an agent that'll do it for $500? Good luck. Yeah.
I talked about it, it just.
And you're not gonna get 30
I
something.
wanna hire you, but I
Yeah.
only wanna pay you this, and I
Good.
said no.
Well, and I wanna hire you and I only wanna charge you this. Guess we're
There's
selling.
one specific that, can I tell you why that concerns me,
Yeah.
is that the job of the listing agent is to protect your equity, to be a good negotiator. So if I'm willing to give away my value just because you asked,
Yeah.
how strong of a negotiator do you think that a person's gonna be when it comes to your equity that doesn't even pay their bills, right? So like, I get paid on commission, so the more you make, the more I make, so we're in this together, right? But like, do you want a strong negotiator on your behalf? right? Because like we just said earlier, like, it's not about the offer that you get. That is one piece of it. But even if I get one offer, I'm not a rookie. I'm still gonna go back and negotiate. You can still do that with one offer, but you have to be very careful in how you do those things, and that's the knowledge that comes with time and experience. But besides that, I'm protecting your equity all the way through the transaction. I know where your power is as a seller and where it's not. I know what the buyers can ask for. I know where they're gonna be able to walk. Like, these are skills that we have that keep the money all the way to the closing table. So if you have somebody who values themselves so little, how are they gonna value your money?
It's true.
Is your money more important than their money?
Yeah,
So that's where I would just be concerned, but of course, it's a business decision to make.
exactly.
So,
I love
And
it.
if you ever need, just real quick, are you guys okay with me giving you a visual for this
Yes.
conversation? Does this one work? Okay, good. So, Mr. Seller, I wanna show you the difference between me and that discount agent. I just wanna make sure that you have a clear idea of where we're at. This is what I charge, this is what somebody else charges. I hear that you have an agent who's willing to do it for half my price, correct? Great. So I wanna explain to you what I do. This goes to Uncle Sam. That's out immediately. This is what I'm left with, okay? This is going to my firm. So I'm left with everything that other agent has, but guess what? They also have to pay Uncle Sam, and they've probably paid their firm. Here's the good thing for you. I've got all of this for marketing and this for myself. If we spend the same on marketing, that agent makes no money. I guarantee you they're not making no money. So my concern is they're making half of what I make, but they also just cut your marketing budget in half, which means you're getting a discount photographer, discount marketing, quite honestly, a discount negotiator, because I have no problem with using 15 grand, let's say, to market, whatever the dollar amount is, but let me spend the money in the marketing because they're definitely discounting it. And Uncle Sam's not taking less than 30%. So either they're taking less money home for them or they're cutting their marketing spend for you. I guarantee you they're cutting their marketing spend for you because I have double what they have just in marketing budget alone, and I don't have to worry about what's affecting my family.
I like
Does
that.
this make sense?
Yes. Or they're gonna list your house overpriced so they can sell 3 buyers and make up all of their commission on those sales. Right? I mean,
That's, I always like to do that
I
and be
like that
like, here's Uncle Sam,
Yep.
because everybody understands, like, it's a third. They're not paying any less than that. Like, that's out the window, so a third, great. And then here's what's left over. Spend on your house for marketing, take home pay.
I love it. Well, thank you, Miss
Thanks.
Jessica. Let's give her a round of applause. So that concludes our all access pass